Hi everyone, welcome to the Breezy Trees Homestead. I'm going to take you around and show you what we're doing with the place. A short tour. So this is our front driveway. So we will eventually be removing the trailer after we get our house built. There goes Bob. So this is our setup for guests here with the Airstream. And this is where our house will eventually go. Corey has already started the dirt work. He's almost done with it. Just had a few touch-ups before we can start looking at putting the foundation in. Over here is our shop and carport that we built this summer. And our baby tractor. We work really hard. Over in that far area over there, that's where the 4-season greenhouse is going to go. Let's go up here on the hill. So this is where our front deck will eventually be. Then this is going to be a 1/4 acre crop that we will rotate, whether it's wheat or oats or running pigs or whatever we can figure out or whatever people will buy. There's Bob again. He loves to climb trees. So the whole property is ringed with a double row of willow trees. We've replaced some. That's a walnut tree that we put in because there was a space here. So eventually, I'm assuming that these willow trees will start to die out. We will replace them. There's the field. Right now we're growing sorghum and oats and turnips and buckwheat. It's a cover crop, so it will improve the soil, add some organic matter to it. Since it hasn't been worked for about 30 years. So we're trying to make the soil a little better. Good morning. The property actually goes past the ditch and the trees. So back here, we will run pigs along the back fence line so they can dig this area up to their heart's content. It's Bob on the tree again. Okay, Bob. There's the back of the shop. There's our lone apple tree at this point in time. So this is where we're going to be growing our orchard, our small orchard. So we'll be able to drive in between the two areas. This will be the first row. We're going to put in apples, peaches, apricots, pears, and plums. Nectarines too. And this is a shell for our 3-season greenhouse that we will eventually get going. So a 3-season greenhouse will pretty much make it like Texas, a zone 8, so we can start plants and growing them early as March in a 3-season greenhouse. And for here, that's pretty early. There's our little storage shed. And we have the irrigation that comes in up here at the top, so we can irrigate the entire place without having to use pumps, which is very nice. We have some piping through some of it. So that's where the irrigation comes in. So it goes through these stitches, down the tree line. And we'll come over here to the garden. So we'll have raspberries in here. Haven't planted them yet. The blackberries have already been planted, so they're starting. This is the asparagus patch. They're pretty sad right now, but they are starting to grow their first year. So that's the asparagus patch. And the garden past this. So this is just our 30 by 30 outside garden. And the onions are almost done, most of them. They're falling over, they're done. We're picking beans. These are our tomatoes. The tomatoes are just trained onto a cattle panel fence. Try to keep them as in check as possible. So they're going a little bit more upright instead of big bushy growth. We have the potatoes that are starting to be done. Our peppers. This is our corn. We planted popcorn and dent corn. It grew a lot taller than I thought it was going to. And then down below we have some spaghetti squash that is growing beneath it. And then we also have beans. So this is a Three Sisters. I've never done this before, so this is an experiment. It's a little crowded. Everything grew a lot bigger than what I was assuming it would. There's the spaghetti squash coming on. So over here we have our squash, some peppers there, Anaheim peppers, another row of tomatoes. And this is our irrigation that we have for it. Basically have a pipe going down, and then at every row, double row, there is a little plug, and you just pull it out and it pops out and it waters down the line for flood irrigation. So these are my cucumbers. They're on tomato cages to grow high. And these are the summer squash, zucchini and yellow squash. And there's the tomatoes at the end. Here's our compost piles. Always want to have at least 3 growing at a time. So the back one is a finished one, and these 2 are in different stages, eventually composting. That's our wood chipper. It helps mulch everything. And this is where the 4-season greenhouse is going to go. So the back side will be covered in soil, so it'll keep it a little bit warmer with insulation. And the front will be raised a bit. So that's where the 2 little corners are going to be. A 12-foot by 32-foot greenhouse. So there it is. Again, we'll be laying the forms for the foundation for this today. That's pretty exciting. Okay, so it's back to the front of the house again. Let's grab a pit. And up to here. And that is the tour of our property. But over here we have another irrigation plot where we can pull the water and it will water the front area so we can control it a little bit better. So there we go. That's the tour of our Breezy Trees homestead.